Everyone, this is Dr. Duru from Ahan Analytics with the Market Breadth. I've got a real quick video for you today. This is going to be a trading tutorial on how to pick stocks that have helped Market Breadth expand off the lows. So we had a big day today. It looks like the government shutdown will be ending soon. It's kind of ironic that we started this government shutdown over a month ago. What was it, over 6 weeks ago, something like that? And the market couldn't care less. In fact, it rallied, it continued to melt up to new all-time highs. And I don't think it's any accident that we get this pullback right before the government shutdown seems ready to finally end and people are compromising and things are finally happening on that front. It's often a little surreal, but not surprising that there's some synchronicity between the policymakers and the stock market, that there's only so much pain that the policymakers are willing to experience in financial markets when they know they are the cause or the potential cause of what's going on. All right, let's take a look at the stocks that moved Market Breadth today, November 10th, 2025. All right, so this is my favorite technical indicator, the percentage of stocks trading above their 50-day moving averages, what I like to call AT50 for above the 50. 70% represents the overbought level, 20% is the oversold level. In between, there's not a lot of information unless AT50 is trending away or towards one of these important thresholds. Right now, AT50 has been trending away from the overbought level, so that's somewhat bearish, but it's even more bearish that it's been in this downtrend for months. So this, I've been writing about this. I've been worrying about it. Last week, we finally got the breakdown to new lows, we broke down to a low that hasn't been seen since April. This is what I anticipated based on the downtrend. And sure enough, it had a very bearish impact on the market last week, except for the major indices, S&P 500 and NASDAQ, held their 50-day moving average support. So I couldn't quite call that a bearish moment. Today, the buyers stepped in. We have some good news. The government shutdown is probably going to end soon. I actually didn't realize that the market cared because if you recall, we started this whole government shutdown with the stock market not even caring. In fact, the stock market rallied and continued to rally, really melt up after the government shutdown started. So I guess this drama got protracted enough that it was starting to weigh on investor sentiment. Anyway, what I like to see is that we had a big gain of 3 percentage points, or 8.1% to 41%. This means 41% of stocks are trading above their 50-day moving averages, and we moved from 38%. So that's an expansion of market breadth. That is a good, healthy sign for the stock market. Unfortunately, since this is below 50%, it means the majority of stocks are either breaking down or in downtrends, and you'll see the impact of this in a second. So on a day like this, I like to look at, well, what stocks have helped to improve market breadth? Those will be the stocks that have traded above their 50-day moving average for the first time. So they were below it on Friday, and today, Monday, November 10th, they are above it. To do that, I like to go to my favorite stock scanning tool, SwingTradeBot, and go to research, click on end of day scans. let's just go to all scans. I'm going to look for the scan that tells me what are all the stocks that traded above their 50-day moving averages. I do Control F. One of these days, I will have a bookmark, so I don't have to do this. And here we go. Here's the magic scan, cross above 50-day moving averages. Now, there's two numbers here. The 86 is the number of stocks that meet my default filters. And these default filters are important for me because it filters out a lot of junk. Because you can see if I didn't filter them, this is the unfiltered number, 849. That's way too many. That's information overload. There's going to be just a whole lot of junk that's just going to waste my time. So having a filter helps me to stay more focused. This percentage says what is this number compared to the average. So this confirms that today was a day of expanding market breadth. Let's click on the 86 so I can see my list of stocks. Here are my filters. Minimum average volume of 200,000. This is daily average volume. Minimum price of 10. In the advanced filter section, I only want the stocks. I don't want the ETFs for this particular exercise. And then I'm going to click on As Chart. So I don't have to go through the list and then hover over the chart, the chart symbol to see the chart pop up. I just want to be able to do a quick eyeball scan. So hang in there with me as I am going to go through sort of my decision process of what constitutes a potential add to my bullish watch list. So first off the bat, ACLS, ACLS Technologies Incorporated. You can see here a nice consolidation area. You're gonna have to watch my cursor to see the items that I'm talking about. So right here, you can see this price consolidation. It's a range. Popping above the 50-day moving average is bullish. So I am going to add that to my watch list by clicking on watch list, add it to my bullish swing. I've already prepared the copy and paste. Here's my, I just want to put in a note so I remember why did I add this stock to my bullish swing list. Hit save, and now it's there for me to look at next. All right, so let's continue looking through. I don't want any financial services stocks, so I'm going to skip through these. You can hit pause if any of these are interesting to you. Remember, I'm providing this for educational purposes only. Please trade and invest according to your own risk management and time horizons. Please like and share this content so the algorithm knows what's up. Subscribe to this channel if you like this video. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please put them down below. All right, let's continue. Here's a consumer cyclical, auto live ALV. It doesn't look so great to me. I mean, I like this marginal pop, but this is a consumer cyclical. I'm not really interested in that for this particular scan. Amplitude, I don't like because you can see this downtrend. And this is what we're going to see in a lot of these charts is that, yes, some of these stocks are breaking above their 50-day moving averages, but they are still in short-term downtrends. And because of that, they have had other false breakouts. So this kind of stock is something that even if I put it on my watch list, I would be very cautious about trading. I would have a very tight stop, and I would get out of the way if the stock were to close below the 50-day moving average in short order. Okay, financial services, like I said, I'm skipping that. This is oil and gas or energy. I'm going to skip all of those stocks. Not interested in those. Not interested in the REITs. So I'm going to skip through these or the trusts. I think this is also a REIT. So just bear with me as I scan through this really quickly. This here is too marginal. It's not above the 50-day moving average enough. It just barely ticked above. Boston Scientific, now that corporation, that's pretty interesting, but you could see this downtrend, and I could definitely see the stock just resuming its downtrend very soon. Here is something that's very interesting, but it's basic materials, industrial metals, and minerals. I have not actually heard of this stock. BVN, Buenaventura Mining Company. I bet you this is something in, I'm guessing this is something in South America, maybe Central America. I am going to add it to the watch list just because I want to learn more about this stock. Not sure I'll really trade it, but looks interesting enough. CHYM, now I'm going to make an exception. CHYM is a recent IPO, CHYM Financial. It's a fintech stock. So I should be moving on, but it intrigues me because it just reported earnings. That's why this volume has picked up. And it poking above its 50-day moving average for the first time makes it interesting. Also, I have a very tight stop that I can implement below the price where CHYM traded right before earnings. So I'm going to add this to my watch list, and I'm going to look for some buying follow through, and then I will probably trade it. Oh, and it's unfortunately, it's not showing up on my watch list now because my watch list is actually full. So after this video, I'll have to go back and clean it up a little bit so I can fit in CHYM. All right, so anyway, let's go through this really quickly. Financial, communication services, again, I don't like the downtrend. Utilities, I don't like in this exercise. Chevron is energy and gas. DEC, energy and gas. DGX, Quest Diagnostics Incorporated. This is an interesting one. It's in healthcare. I like that move. It's kind of in a trading range, but maybe it could at least get back to the top of this range. That would be pretty interesting to me. Dine Brands Global. This is a restaurant company. I like the fact that the 50-day moving average is still up. I was in this earlier and I traded in and out. It was a nice profitable trade. Maybe if there's some buying follow through, I could get interested in this again and hope that this recovery from the lows of the summer continues. But I'm not optimistic given the slowdown in a lot of these restaurant companies. Denali Therapeutics is biotech, a little too speculative for this scan. Notice that there's 5 pages of this. I am going to then scroll very quickly and only stop on the ones that really caught my interest, that catch my interest. So again, if you want to hit the pause button and look more closely at what I'm scanning through, be my guest. I'm going to keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it moving. Oh, gold and silver and precious metals made a great move today. So you'll see a bunch of gold stocks, gold related and material stocks. I'm not putting any of them in my watch list because I'm already long gold and long silver. So this was a good day to be long those. Semiconductors, this is a company I don't think I've heard of before, Global Foundries. It doesn't look interesting because it's just a lot of chop insurance. I'm going to pass over it. But that's interesting stock. I'm surprised I hadn't heard of that semiconductor company. This is industrial and shipping and ports. That's close to being of interest to me. It looks like, for those of you who are into this sector, it looks like it's about to just break out and challenge the recent high. So that would be a positive for that stock. Let's keep going. Financial services, gold, Hilltop Holdings, financial services, healthcare, biotech. Now, this is again another stock, IMCR, is one that I would pass over because it's an overall trading range. And you can see a lot of chop, right? So yes, it's above the 50-day moving average, but it's been above the 50-day moving average several times over the past few months. So I'm just going to pass on that for now. Let's keep going. So you're getting some idea of the kinds of things I like and don't like that you may or may not apply. JMIA is a stock that I am in. It's actually going to report earnings later this week. So crossing my fingers on that one. It's a e-commerce company in Africa. Joby Aviation, I'm sure you've heard a lot about Joby. Again, I don't want to put this on my list because it's just been a lot of chop for many months. Not that interested. I want something that's likely breaking out. I'm going to hold a breakout. Sorry, if the breakout holds, it has a clear runway to continue higher to the next point of resistance. All right, financial, basic materials, don't like that downtrend, energy and gas. Haven't heard of this company before, Kyivstar Group Limited, KYIV. So I'm going to add that to my list just to understand what this company is. Consumer cyclical, auto parts, you can see there's many reasons why I wouldn't be interested in this. Number one is a consumer cyclical and auto parts, but two, it's below a lot of the recent highs. It collapsed back in August. That looks like an earnings drop. And this 50-day moving average breakout is very marginal. The stock is stuck in a trading range, so nothing really has changed. Sorry, this 50-day moving average breakout has not changed the overall technical health of the stock. All right, LNW, gambling, light and wonder. That looks kind of interesting. It looks like it's trying to turn this downtrend around. So I would put that on my list to look at. Financial services, healthcare, biotech, healthcare, medical devices. This one looks like a clean breakout, but I don't like it because you can see the massive range from 10 to 20. That's crazy. That means this is a super hyper speculative stock and very dangerous for me, too dangerous for my personal taste. This basic material stock, McEwen Mining Incorporated, MUX, looks sort of interesting, but you can see it's still stuck in an overall downtrend. So I want to see some convincing follow through before I'm interested in that. We have a railroad company that looks pretty interesting because it could resume an uptrend if there's some buying follow through to that 50-day moving average breakout. Sorry, that's Norfolk Southern Corporation, NSC. Nutanix, a lot of chop, but this is a company I've liked in the past. Agricultural inputs, you're going to see a bunch of these agricultural inputs stocks, but none of them looked interesting to me when I first went through this. NTR, just a lot of chop for many months. Let's see, what is this one? Oh, Nova Measuring Instruments. This one could be interesting, but I don't have a really good explanation as to why I'm going to pass on this, just that I don't really like the path that it took to this point. NVRI, Enviri Corporation. I like this one. It's very interesting because it not only, I think this is a post-earnings gain, it's making a clean breakout above the 50-day moving average, which I forgot to mention is this red line. Looks ready to continue higher. And on top of that, it looks like a good breakout and a bullish, what's called a bullish engulfing pattern, which typically signals the end of a downtrend. All right, chop, chop, chop for OCFC. ONC, I don't like that. Lots of chop there. Healthcare, medical care, there's a downtrend. This is silver, like I said, already in it. Okay, we've only got a page and a half left to go. And I'm not going to name these now. I'm just going to stop when something visually catches my eye. Let's see if we have anything left. You know, we're this is all alphabetical. Aha, Shopify. I'm going to add this to my list. You can see this nice uptrend. This is what I want to see in a stock that this is the ideal setup for a stock that's breaking about above its 50-day moving average, is that it's coming off of a cooling off period, which is in the middle of an overall uptrend. So this is very bullish, much more bullish than just about every other stock that I showed. Now, the only trouble with potential trouble with Shopify is that it's this in the middle here is a post earnings loss. So to buy this is to bet that eventually this drop or gap down will heal itself very quickly. Here's a stock that's trying to turn around a downtrend, but not quite convincing enough for me here. Syndax, this is a pharmaceutical company I'm already in. You can look at my previous videos to see why I made the case to buy this, and I'm still holding it. This is not convincing, too marginal. This meaning SNX. Let's see. Yep, nothing good here. Just chop and downtrends, chop and downtrends. And energy, chop and downtrends. This is a good one. All those precious metals. So this is redundant to my gold and silver holdings, but I'm going to check it out. TFPM, Triple Flag Precious Metals Corporation. And that's the fourth page. Fifth page, we're almost done. Tyson Foods, that's surprising. But again, it's just chopping around, not much of interest there. This stock could be interesting, actually, if it breaks up above the previous high. This is Vera, VERA Therapeutics. Energy and gas, steel, just a lot of chop, trading range. Zoom, I like this. I've always liked Zoom, but particularly here as it's trying to turn around from a longer-term consolidation phase. And this one is very interesting to me. ZYME or ZYME, probably ZYME Works Incorporated, ticker symbol ZYME. It's recovered, I believe. This is a post-earnings drop, and it's recovered it in one big move. 9.6% gain. This is actually something I wouldn't chase. I would buy on a pullback or any pullback that stays above the 50-day moving average. And that is it. Thanks for hanging in there. Here is, once again, what started all this is the AT50, the percentage stocks trading above the 50-day moving averages. As a review, as a reminder, I'll zoom in. We've bounced up. We're still in a downtrend, so still in the danger zone. So all of the stocks I just showed are really short-term trades. If I get into any of them, I would likely stop out of them below the 50-day moving average, a close below the 50-day moving average. But otherwise, I'm hoping for the momentum to continue. Thanks for hanging in there. This is Dr. Duru from Ahan Analytics with the Market Breadth. Take it easy and check you